house in Santa Cruz, California for $8,000, arm's length transaction right there, nice suburban in Santa Cruz, okay, $8,000 when minimum wage was $1.50 an hour approximately. 1/4 of your income would cover that mortgage on that house. $50 a month. And look where we are now. It would have gone down. So now you'd be paying $500 for a house in Santa Cruz, maybe. Do you understand? I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being mathematical. I'm using logic and reason. All this stuff can be worked out on paper. It's what should have happened. It's what happened with the VCR in light of free market supply and demand capitalism. That's it, man. The rewards should go to the people, not these useless people causing the problems. That's all they're doing. But I'm willing to share with them too. I don't care. They're God's children. They're equally loved. They believe to be treated like fellow Americans, fellow humans. This thing is international, what I'm talking about. When it comes to universal prosperity, universal means universal. That means every known being, human being on the face of the earth should be treated in the same way. Okay, that's what I'm for. All right, I'm starting to get mad at myself again, so I'm going to race through some current events, talking points, and thoughts from this week. Let's see. I was talking here about the fisticuffs that broke out in, where was it, Southern California on the beach there, Huntington Beach. Yeah, it's really sad. This stuff doesn't do a damn thing to lift my spirits in any way. I don't want to see it. This is just BS, man. This is what these idiots want. They want us to break down into civil war. The bees are dying. Okay, bumblebees are talking about. Perhaps it's a result of the chemtrailing. So-called to save the planet, they're going to ruin it. Okay, it's like we're being held hostage. It's extortion. This carbon tax is extortion. That's all that these people are. These Al Gore types, these climate alarmists. The climate has never been stable, never been constant. What a stupid issue for them to. It's this gaslighting. It's like the opposite is true, but they're going to shove the BS down our throats. Okay, it's ridiculous. Makes me sick. Carbon isn't even a pollutant, and these people don't want to talk about disruptive technology and suppressed clean energy technology. Lots of pedo discussion on the Alex Jones show. Apparently there's been a lot of arrest of child trafficking and crap. Again, money related. And we know about all these priests that are involved in all this stuff, and we know there's money involved, okay? And these people that restrain themselves, it kind of reminds me of the Bible passage talking about this idea of these legalists. Don't taste, don't touch. This is forbidden. It makes people want it all the more. This opposite psychology, it's reverse psychology. The taboo effect, okay? That's what it is. So, people that are the most restrained out there, they I'm free now. I've decided to give in to my... And then they're hurting children, and Jesus said, you hurt a child, it'd be better that you were never born, better to be thrown to the depths of the sea than to hurt one of these little ones. I mean, give me a break. This is what the world has come to. This is under the reign of Satan. Satan is still in control of this world, as evidence. I can't even wrap my mind around this crap. Normal people can't. I mean, the idea of hurting a child is so foreign to anybody with a semblance of integrity or honor or decency. I mean, anybody that's ever had children and you go, my God, no, never. No way, man. You can't see it. But this is going on in our world. I mean, this has to be confronted. I mean, if you're in law enforcement, you got to just hold your nose, man, when you got to deal with these people. This is tough. I mean, I don't know what kind of confinement these people need, but you can't hurt a child. I don't care how much money you've got. I don't care how strong the urge is. You can't do it. Period. End of story. Neither God nor man will ever allow you to be a pedophile. Period. End of story. That's it. Okay, and people, I mean, they will act like Moses. I mean, they'll act in rage, in a fury, and they will just kill you out of passion, just in the heat of the moment. That's it. Temporary insanity, whatever you want to call it, but that kind of thing, it's got to take place in these situations. And as much as I'm opposed to violence, I understand it when it's the situation like Moses. It's that temporary insanity. It's defending others. So it's not always just about self-defense. Sometimes you got to defend others, especially the weak, the children out there. Okay, it's not okay in any way, shape, or form. In all things, give thanks, it's written in the Bible. And that is a paradox, it really is. And I started out the videos series today talking about Alex Jones and, this fear. The show induces fear in me. I got to tell you, watching, the freaking out Alex Jones and the cussing and all this, it scares me. I mean, somebody's just got to grab that guy and just give him some tender, loving care, man. Come on. I mean, maybe it's his son or his daughters, his wife, his close family, his mom, his dad. He's got all these loving people, his nephew, his sister. He's got all these people around him, other crew. I know some of those crew are excellent. I love them. I mean, the John Bounds and the Darren McBreens. I mean, you guys got to, just have like an intervention and help him. He never used to go off like this. Not with the cussing, not with the letting loose of his tongue. I just don't think it's a good practice, and I don't think it's a good thing, a habit, to cultivate. And that's where I'm coming from. I don't think it's becoming of a guy that has his kind of prominence and position in the world. I just don't. Okay, and that's why I speak out about it. I wouldn't want to hear it coming from Donald Trump. I didn't like him saying that he hated some of these people when he knows the Bible, he knows the instructions of Jesus, and we're going to willfully go against that. Yeah, you can do it. You can be forgiven. Blaspheme the Son. Say, well, what he said, it takes second place to my opinion on this. I'm going to say I hate these people when he said, no, you've got to love your enemy. So at least say you care and you wish none to perish but all to come to repentance. At least show that you're trying to be that person. Okay, don't blaspheme the Son. The Son didn't lie. He just said this is what the Father says. You want to model yourself after God, at the image and likeness of the Father, emulate Him, then you've got to understand He's not like us entirely. Okay, we've got to turn to our godly, holy side, the righteous side, to learn to be like God, because we're removed. We've got a thick veil of darkness from birth. Not only do we have to contend with this money-based unreality that's shoved down our throat by these money master, monster, murderer, liars, cheaters, thieves, that are creating the policies we live under, but we've got the original sin, the knowledge of good and evil, this curse that we're up against as human beings. We've all got to deal with it, and it's tough, and we've got to turn to God for the everything, the wherewithal, the knowledge, the wisdom, the strength, the comfort, the encouragement, and help others and display that to others. Okay, so no matter how vile you think people are, you're tempted to say, I hate them. Well, I say I can't stand so-and-so because I can't stand their belief system, their rhetoric. It's hard for me to believe that they believe it. That's what makes me nuts, is when I believe people are intentionally deliberate deceivers. And I get the passion that Alex Jones displays. But I just think it's the letting his tongue loose when it says, look at the book of James, what's written about taming the tongue and all this stuff, and how we defile ourselves by the things that come out of our mouths. This is what Jesus taught, not the things that go in our mouths. So that's why I never get on anybody's case if they eat meat or not eat meat, whatever. To each his own in that matter. God gave us everything. It's your business, your conscience between you and God. That's it. That's all we have to answer to. But let's do care about that. Let's do care about that. And before we say things that we are going to be sorry for, that are going to hurt our soul, that's what it is. It's injurious to our soul. And it hurts me. It makes me fearful to watch it. It hurts me in that way because it scares me for what we're going to have to go through. And, maybe he is just embodying what he's afraid of. He knows that some terrible thing's going to happen. He keeps on predicting Donald Trump assassination. He knows they're trying to kill him. He says there's leaked material on this. I haven't even watched all the recent videos on this. There's one I'm in the process of watching right now about this leak going on. But, what's it entitled? Watch live now. Plan to assassinate Trump leaked. Here's Roger Stone.
Give me the opportunity to respond. Now, that's what real journalists do. That's what real news organizations do.
And I'm not going to start watching the whole video now, but, I really like Stone, okay. I mean, I think he's wrong about Nixon, but I mean, he knew him as a person on a personal level, as a friend and confidant, and he knew a different Richard Nixon than the rest of the world. But what Nixon did with the taping, the Watergate thing, he was a crook, and he was dumb. He got us off the gold standard, which was a real bad thing, real stupid thing. Stone never talks about how bad that was for the country, and then he opened trade with China as if that's helped America at all. We never needed China for boo. I mean, if we could have traded with them, keep giving them stuff because they need to lift their standard, that would have been fine. I would have been fine with. That's not what it was about. It was about lowering our standard of living. That's all it's helped to do. So Nixon was useless. But I'm not going to get off on a big jag about what he's talking about here. But the thing about the Russians, he should be able to answer questions before a hearing. It's not fair to just throw these accusations out there that he's colluding with the Russians somehow. Okay, without any evidence. And besides that, I mean, who even cares? The Russians have come a long way. This is not a country we want to be messing with. Our military, the guys in the right mind in the military, they don't want to mess with Russia. Well, we don't have a beef with them. It's a civilized society, and they're raising their standard of living. The people like the leadership. They like the direction the country's going in. He's got a high approval rating. This is what we want to happen in America, man. This worm's got to turn. This ship's got to turn. The tide's got to turn. We need to heal the wound on the collective body of humanity, not just in America, but all around the world. And it is through extreme poverty that they're causing this wound. That's where it's hemorrhaging. This is what we need to bind up. We can't tolerate this anymore. And that's what I try to do. I try to convey to I don't want to tolerate. I hate it. Help me here. I beg everybody in the whole world. All I want you to do is just convey information I am giving you freely. That's the way I want to do it. Okay, and I want to remain in the shadows of nobody. I like it like that. Just please understand I'm telling you the truth as best of my ability. This is the problem we're confronted with, is the extreme poverty. This is what we've got to focus on, the causers of this extreme poverty. All these establishmentarians, they'll have to give in. It's just like in '08. If we saw true capitalism work, we would have seen a market correction. And yes, some people would have said, oh, the world value of my house went down, and all this crap. You said, yes, but that's capitalism. That's the way it works. Okay, when you got a bubble, it needs to be popped before it gets really bad, and you pop it and the pus splatters everywhere, drowning everybody in pus, because that's a situation we got now. Okay, and it ain't good. Okay, so we've got to do this thing methodically. We got to burst this enormous pimple. Okay, this boil. Okay, in a very methodical manner, very gently, very slowly, we've got to let it run out. But we've got to heal the wound on the body of humanity. And extreme poverty is where we need to focus. And the culprits, the highfalutin politicians, and their money printing cohorts that have the copyright to the money. The local fake stream media quietly reports the death of 2 homeless men here in Butte County. They didn't say they were homeless. They just guys found out in the cold dead. There's a tent by one. Another one found in a creek, I mean, whatever. This is the way it is. Maybe it's the murderer. Maybe it's the homeless murderer. Because they're out there. I mentioned the tobacco tax on the poor, as if that's going to help anybody to quit smoking. I mean, make it $100 a pack. Why not? When soda pop is much more toxic. I've got a personal health problem and ailment, and I believe it's directly due to the toxins in high fructose corn syrup, which has nothing in there. It's not. Nobody's talking about making soda pop illegal, high fructose corn syrup illegal, are they? No. But it's worse than tobacco in my mind. It wasn't the smoking that brought on my condition. Okay, I believe. The doctors can have their own opinion. But there's like some 12 million misdiagnoses every year. So I'm telling you, doctors are often wrong, as proven by the statistics. So it just eats me up. I tell you, that gets me. There's tax I got to pay. $2 a pack. $2 per pack of cigarettes. That's 10 cents a cigarette. Let's see. Here in Chico, there was a 7-year-old second grader that brought a gun to school. Made a big deal out of that. I guess it was pretty lame that his parents let a 7-year-old have access to the gun, but he brought it to show to his friends at school. He didn't mention it was loaded or not.